Hi everyone, Louise Matson here. I was out on a walk today, it's the 18th of January, and this channeling came through. I was feeling too raw to do a live on Facebook, and the sound quality of the audio recording was absolutely appalling because it was really windy. So I've transcribed the message and recorded it to share with you all. So here's what came through to be shared. There is nothing outside of yourself that you need, and you are whatever it is that you're seeking. Whether it be freedom, joy, love, success, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're seeking cannot be bestowed upon you by anyone or anything. It's something that you find within yourself, something that you gift yourself. It lies within you, and it always has done. About 6 years ago, I sent out an arrow of intention, and my request of manifestation into the universe was to experience freedom and joy. I didn't give any specifics. I didn't put any attachments onto it on how it was going to look. I just sent it out there. And in a way, we're all experiencing the reality created from that intention. As I feel many, many thousands of light workers, starseeds, also in their own way sent that intention out into the universe. For we are truly the creators of our own reality. 6 years ago, when I put that powerful laser-focused intent out and repeated it over the next coming years, that I wanted freedom and joy, then the physical reality that I was experiencing had to shift to provide that. And what provides us with freedom? We're provided with freedom when we gain access and awareness to the prison that we've actually created and been existing in for years. So the fact that this year is all about revelation, the fact that many, many truths are being uncovered within ourselves and externally that go beyond our current and existing perception of reality, beyond our understanding of ourselves in the world, beyond the mainstream narrative, that intent for freedom and joy meant that they could no longer be hidden. They could no longer hide within the depths of our awareness or stick around in the shadows, but that the intent that each and every one of us has put out into the universal field, and particularly the starseeds and light workers and those who have awakened to a greater, deeper, more expanded truth of who we all truly are, have brought into being. It's like illusion cannot exist anymore. So back in 2016, I knew for some reason that Donald Trump would win the American election, even though at the time I didn't particularly pay much attention to their elections or even like the man. I'd bought completely into the mainstream narrative of him being a misogynist, and yet deep down I knew he would be the winner of the election. And I also knew, as a deep inner knowing, that it would be the perfect thing for all. At the time, I thought, well, America's basically portrayed itself to the world as this perfect example of democracy and makes out that everyone should aim to be just like America, like this perfect role model for the whole of humanity. America was seen to show themselves as the most together country, the world's greatest power, the world leader. And yet everyone knew that there remained a deep division in America, deep unresolved issues, deep unhealed wounds from the very initiation of the United States of America, with the treatment of the Native Americans by the immigrants, and then subsequently the treatment of coloured people with the slave trade and the ensuing racism, and the absolute polarity within America between the haves and have-nots. There was obviously so much division, but it was all under the surface. America portrayed itself outwardly as this shining star of what everyone should aim to be like, and yet if you rip that plaster off, there was a festering wound beneath. And that's exactly what I felt Trump did. He ripped the plaster off. It was like, okay, you're no longer able to put your head in the sand and pretend everything's okay when it's not. You're no longer going to be able to portray this image of perfection when underneath there's maggots, pus, and necrotic tissue. So that's what I figured. For good or bad, right or wrong, whatever, it is what it is, and it's meant to be. And at the very least, Trump was going to bring these divisions to the surface so that they could be finally healed, because we cannot heal anything that we allow to remain hidden in the shadows. That's why the importance of shadow work is so great. If things are hidden in the shadows, you can't heal them. They need to be brought to the surface. They need to be aired and to be looked at, acknowledged, owned, loved, thanked, so that they can be healed. The wounded and broken aspects of ourselves need whatever they need to become whole again. But this can't be done if they're hidden. It can't be done if they remain in the shadows. And that's basically what, for me, 2020 has been all about. And 2021 will continue this process. It's not going to be done and dusted in a few months. We had 9 months of 2020 where a lot of truths were being uncovered, where a lot of people were beginning to see beyond the delusions that everything is groovy, that everything is okay, and there's nothing to see here, there's nothing to heal here. That's what 2020 was about, from my point of view. With the completely nonsensical aspects of the whole COVID situation and being locked down and told to wear masks, completely unjustified and in contrast to scientific evidence, the detriments of which completely outweighed any benefits that I could see, and yet everyone seemed to launch into this view and go along with it without question. And so those hearts who were open, those who were able to start waking up, started asking questions, because asking questions is where we start. It's where we start the healing process, gaining awareness. We start to engage our mind brain, our heart brain, and our gut brain, because there is nothing outside of ourselves that we need. And that includes another's opinion of what is or isn't right or wrong for us. We are perfectly capable of and need to make up our minds, make our own decisions based on what feels right and wrong for us. And yet over the centuries, over the eons, through many lifetimes, we've given this privilege, this power away to our loved ones, to people in authority, to whatever, for whatever reason. And there is no judgment. It is what it is, and it's been what it's been. And I hold my hand up as I've done exactly the same in this lifetime. And I know I've done the same in others. So 2021 is the continuation of the year of revelation. 2020 saw the reactivation of the freedom codes, and they were activated within the earth through the collective intent of thousands of starseeds and light workers. And freedom means releasing yourself from illusion. To be free, you have to actually see reality. You have to see and you have to ask yourself, what's right for me? That's how you free yourself. You free yourself from the matrix, you free yourself from patterns of behavior, you free yourself from cycles and ways of being through asking yourself, connecting in with your truth and taking action from that space. For many people, this is going to be really, really hard because you don't know where to start, because in all honesty, you've never been trained to do this. You've never practiced doing it and you've never experienced doing it. And if maybe you have, generally it's ended up in something perceived by your egoic personality self as bad, like a relationship breaking up or a job being left, your situation completely changing, whatever it is. And so the ego will look at this and say, well, that wasn't great. I'm not going to do that again. or that had a crappy ending, so let's just stick with the status quo, shall we? But this is what freedom is. And the freedom codes are activated. So it's going to get more and more uncomfortable for people to remain trying to keep the plasters on their festering wounds. And this isn't just happening in America, it's happening globally, collectively, as well as individually. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, everything that you thought was true, everything that you perceive to be reality and truth is going to be brought into question this year. To enable people to gain a wider perspective, a different opinion, to encounter a different truth within themselves, to what they see outside of themselves. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable for many. I mean, if I thought 2020 was uncomfortable, well, I've just entered 2021. And personally, this is far more uncomfortable than 2020 ever was. I was given an inner knowing by my guides, by Source, on my birthday last year, the 1212 gateway in 2020, that the 12th of January 2021 was going to be massively powerful as a gateway. I was shown the gateway, and I was basically told, you're still holding on to stuff. You have to get rid of it. You have to let go fully to walk through this gateway into the next highest transition, the next highest timeline, whatever you want to call it. And I look behind me, and believe me, I've done a lot of letting go. I've done a lot of spiritual work for the majority of my life in some way, shape, or form. And I've done a lot of letting go, a lot of releasing, a lot of shadow work. And yet when I looked behind myself, I still had stuff in my backpack. I was still dragging stuff behind me. So I went through a shamanic journey where I let go of everything, literally everything that was in my backpack, and then everything that was me, my flesh, my bones, everything, so that I could pass through this gateway. Now, at the time I was thinking, okay, so I've been given this insight. Maybe I should do a group event, a group activation, a webinar about it. And I was told no. So I came to the 12 for the first 21 gateway. And it was incredibly powerful, but it was also incredibly painful. And it culminated in me letting go of everything. And it was scary, and it still is, and it's painful, and it's still very, very raw. But I know that it had to be done. And so this year of revelation started for me with the revelation of exactly what it is, what it was that I was still holding on to. And then allowing myself energetically to fully let go. Because to fully stand in our power, to fully own and reclaim our power, we have to let go of that which is blocking us from doing it. Because nothing outside of us is blocking us. There is no one, no thing that can stop you being fully present in your power. Whether it be government, laws, loved ones, people who you feel in some way hold or have power over you, nothing. The truth is you are blocking yourself. It is only and has only ever been you. And so that was my massive realization. And the choice that we have is whether we let go of everything that is holding us back or not, because we have free will choice. In that moment, I knew that the deep inner compulsion within me was to fully let go, to allow myself to stand in my power, to take full responsibility for all that I am, to be my truth in every aspect, to stop compromising myself in all of the ways that I was still compromising myself, and to fully own all that I am in each moment. And it was really upsetting and very, very scary. But I knew in a way that the decision really had already been made. It wasn't a cognitive thing. It wasn't something that I mentally chose to do. It was just something that was inside me, deep, deep inside of me. But then, as always, I had to walk the path in physical reality, to experience the physical reality of that choice. And that is what occurred this week. One of the first steps of the physical experience of that choice has happened, and yes, it's extremely painful, very, very painful, and incredibly scary, and has brought up everything that I had kept in the shadows, every aspect of my life where I was still compromising myself, and the realization of how truly adept I am at compromising my truth from early childhood until this now moment. Because I have, like many others, I've done it my entire life. From the moment I came into incarnation and knew that we were more than our physical body, our physical form, and knew that I was a healer and was channeling and consciously made that decision that to fit in, to be loved, to feel safe, to be accepted, I would deny my truth and lock it all down inside myself, never to connect to it again this lifetime. And that I had compromised myself, my truth in all aspects of my life, my work, my relationships, beliefs, everything. But last week the choice was made to change that pattern of behaviour. And I'm now walking the path of reversing that trend. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like, however it feels, from a very human perspective, and it currently feels completely crap. A real emotional roller coaster, incredibly hard, and it feels like the last thing in the world that I want to be doing. And yet, I know it's the right thing to be doing. So this is a year of revelation, 2021, and we cannot bring new earth. We cannot bring in new earth. We cannot expect to create the reality of new earth, of unity consciousness, of love and light, without truly going through the initiation of fire and the initiation of water. We have to allow ourselves to release and let go, allow ourselves to burn away all that is no longer serving us, all the attachments and connections, and dissolve them all in a tsunami of tears, and clear out each of the aspects that we are, to free ourselves, to truly embody those freedom codes that were activated back in 2020, and allow ourselves to fully embody and reclaim our power, and to live each moment in our truth. Because when we are stood in our power, when we are truly stood within our convictions, knowing who we are and what is right and wrong for us, there is nothing and nobody that has any power or control over us. And when enough people have allowed themselves to go through the purge and the pain of this period of revelation, openly, honestly, maintaining that open heart and not shutting down, not putting your head in the sand and going, la, 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 I'm not listening, but being fully open. And as it always does, we see this internal reality being reflected in the external with Trump's declaration to clear out the swamp. We cannot manifest New Earth into physical reality without draining our internal swamp. So this is a process that has to be undertaken for all, by all, and some will choose not to. Some will choose to leave rather than face the shadows, within themselves and within the wider collective. And for some, it's going to be an incredibly painful experience, incredibly disturbing, where the rug has just been ripped out completely from your entire reality. Everything you believe, things to be, everything you know to be true. It's going to be very, very confusing. There's going to be a lot of support needed for ourselves and for others. So this really is a time for self-care, for self-love, good nourishment, giving yourself whatever it is that you need in each moment and allowing yourself to express your truth, allowing your feelings, your emotions to flow fully and freely, allowing your thoughts to go wherever they want to go. Sometimes we have to allow our thoughts to go down the rabbit holes that they're going to go down and really go to the depths to find their own way out, to come to that place of neutrality where it's like, okay, I just can't go any further. So we're at this choice point where we either choose to exit, which is a choice, or we choose, as I often say, to pull our big girl pants up and crack on and change our perspective, change our perception, change our thoughts, our way of being, because we finally let them be fully acknowledged and explored. And we get to choose what resonates with us now in this moment. And when all the tears have been cried out and all the pain has been released, allowing ourselves to come into that neutral space and holding ourselves and letting the love flood in, letting the light flood us and fill us, filling all of those spaces that have been created through the process of release. That's what the healing process really is. Releasing that which doesn't serve us, that which doesn't belong, and filling ourselves up with our own divine light, our own love light. Now, people can facilitate the healing process, but the true healing is done by us, individually and independently of others. So if or when you attend a healing session with a healer, the expectation is not that they are going to wave a magic wand and miraculously take your pain away, and that the process of healing will be an easy one where someone takes whatever it is that no longer serves you out and then fills you up with light, but rather it's the healer creating and holding a sacred space in conjunction with your highest aspects of self, those aspects of you that have the ability to manifest miraculous healing, because they exist within the high dimensions where all is possible. The healer works in conjunction with your higher self to open the doors, as it were, to provide that safe space for full exploration, to enable you to go there whilst feeling held and being seen, allowing your truth to be seen by yourself and others, and providing you the space for you to practice this new state, this new way of being, so that you can carry on and continue the work on your own, in your own physical reality, so that the work is completed in the healing session, can play itself out in your physical reality, because as within, so without, as above, so below. So whatever energy work is done, remember, it's going to present itself in some way in your physical reality, because we are both, we are all things, all is energy. It's just vibrating at different frequencies, and you cannot do the energy clearing work and expect that to be it. And then miraculously your world is going to shift and become exactly as you want it to be. You have to experience the shift in your physical reality as well as energetically. And that can look a million and one different ways. So the true healing is done through your allowance and openness to do the energetic work, completed in partnership between the healer and your higher self, and then your willingness to mirror or allow the energy work to play out in the physical realm, whereby you take the steps required physically to match your new energetic frequency or resonance. Basically, the healing work is enabling you to raise your frequency and connect into a higher state of consciousness. Of course, this means that when you raise your frequency, if everything in your outer world is resonating at your original frequency prior to the healing work, you're going to feel some energetic dissonance, some discomfort. And it's that discomfort that enables you to shift your external reality. Because the healing work is all about opening the door, giving you the opportunity to make whatever changes you need to make within your physical reality, your beliefs and behavior patterns that are aligned to your truth. The healer doesn't do that. You do that. You do that in your physical reality. You make the conscious choice to make changes in your way of being that match the frequency that was attained through the energy healing. So energy healing is all things. It's both the energy healing during the session and the changes you make during the integration period. So let go of any idea that someone is going to wave a magic wand and take your pain away or shift your vibration. They may do that in that moment. You may feel fantastic and really different immediately. But unless you allow your vibration in your physical reality to shift and raise to that newly attained frequency, nothing will truly change. The integration period is where the real healing occurs. This is where you choose what your reality will be. Whether you choose to go back to the old frequency or make the necessary changes in your physical reality to maintain the new. Now, that being said, it's actually impossible to truly go back to your old frequency, as you can never unknow that which is known or experienced. And in my experience, life just becomes more and more uncomfortable until you eventually build enough resilience to make the changes required, or the universe steps in to make the changes for you. Okay, so that's what wanted to be shared today. So go well, everyone. Be gentle with yourselves and others. We really are in interesting, amazing times for mankind and humanity, and it's not easy. And I can honestly, hand on heart, say that from personal experience this week, and having gone through this process of release numerous times in my life. However, upon reflection, it has always been for the greatest and highest good, even though at the time that's the last thing that it feels and looks like in the moment. Okay, I'll leave it there. So much love to you. Everybody take care. Goodbye.